Hi, this is the following video over to the core use case video. So this video will just quickly cover the remaining use cases, which is use case 3 and 4 as specified in the blog post on XRMPM. So the first one I'm going to do is logically use case 3, which is basically starting a sprint, because just for some kind of terminology in terms of the solution, as it is now, this sprint is not it's active, however it's not in progress, it is not started. So essentially what you can actually do, if you've got multiple sprints which you're likely to have on a project, you can just literally set up all your sprints, just spend like half hour setting up all your sprints. Maybe that's a little bit generous, maybe an hour, 45 minutes, but essentially yeah, you can do that, and they're not classed as in progress, so they'll fall out of views and things like that. The use case 3 is basically recognising how to start a sprint. So following on from the actual list on the blog, so number 1 is open a sprint. I've got that open at the moment, so just open a sprint. If you haven't already, just manually make sure that's up to date. And then all you do is say sprint started to yes. You'll see that status reason for in progress has changed. Just save that. So we're at step 5 at the moment, and you'll notice that the day breakdown, you've actually specified 5 days. It actually adds a day 0 essentially, and that's just the starting point for your burn down chart basically. So for those that haven't watched the introduction video, the burn down chart can be found where I've just navigated to, which is on the associated days to your sprint. There's your burn down chart. So the last thing you need to do is basically to start a sprint is to then open day 0, because day 0 technically doesn't exist. You've got then effort spent is 0, because again it doesn't exist, nothing's actually happened. You'll see that the status reason automatically changes to day completed once you've actually changed the value of effort spent. Use the autosave function to just nip back to the sprint. You'll see day completed. Now the state that this sprint's in at the moment is technically a sprint in progress. So for those that are kind of thinking of some really cool advanced find stuff, that's essentially what the solution kind of as it is kind of considers it as an active sprint. So that's basically it. That's the end of use case 3. So then I was going to go to use case 4, which is managing sprints. So this is just a little bit more work than what we just went through. So essentially, what is managing a sprint? Managing a sprint is basically just updating these days. So as these days go on, you'll basically the information you need. So kind of before you open that day, the information you need is from the people or person working on the task that's allocated to that day. So let's take this one as an example. There's the remaining ideal effort is 14, the actual ideal effort is 14, that's what we want to achieve, that's what we strive for, that's the expectation. And if I open it, there's effort spent and there's actual effort remaining. So it's expected to be 14. The information you need from the people working on this is what is the actual effort remaining. At close of play on this day, is it still 14? I can communicate to the people that I'm expecting 14 hours to be remaining. It might not be, it might be 20. Something's happened, I've come across some problems today, I couldn't get CRM open, maybe. Something's happened. And I've actually spent 3.5 hours, so I've still spent the specified time, the expected time, but it's been a really difficult day. So I nip back to my sprint. That's perfectly fine. This stuff happens. No one's disputing that fact. I just manually updated the total effort currently spent, which is 3.5. And you can see that the remaining ideal effort and the total actual remaining effort is also updated via the real-time workflow as well. And you can see that the mismatch of effort has automatically said, yeah, actually there's something going on here, which also is based on one of the views of the sprints when there's a mismatch of effort on your dashboard, on the effort analysis dashboard, so you can quickly see the sprints. So if I open CRM tomorrow, I can actually see the sprint will fall into that view of there's actually a mismatch. So this is what I mean when I discuss the purpose of this solution. These scenarios are the perfect example of how to quickly identify when something's happened, something's gone wrong. I can see that there's something happened and I need to make a decision, or which might be nothing, So I've just navigated to my burn down chart. My burn down chart further kind of recognises this as well, in terms of that I can kind of see that something's going on here in terms of I'm on day one, on the end of day one, and it's drastically gone up. So at the moment, I might decide that actually, do you know what? The person doing the task has actually assured me that it's not a problem. It's just something's gone wrong. I'll spend a bit more time on it tomorrow, maybe. Technically, that's anti-agile, but in terms of reality, that might be something that is fine to do. But you can see that then this is then how then we expect to meet this workload. This is then how we expect it to go down. So yeah, essentially that's it. That's the end of use case 4. So you basically, the information you just have to have is the remaining effort of the sprint in total, and the amount of time that the person spent. Update those 2 fields in the day breakdown, and then nip back to the sprint, and then essentially go back to your associated days and analyse your burn down. You can analyse it using these analytics, you can analyse it using the burn down, you can use a combination, which I'd definitely recommend. So yeah, that's essentially the end of use case 4.